Grade 9 Science, Chapter 9 Force and Laws of Motion. In the previous chapter, we described the motion of an object along a straight line in terms of its position, velocity and acceleration. We saw that such a motion can be uniform or non-uniform. We have not yet discovered what causes the motion. Why does the speed of an object change with the time? Do all motions require cause? If so, what is the nature of this cause? In this chapter, we shall make an attempt to quench all such curiosities. For many centuries, the problem of motion and its causes had puzzled scientists and philosophers. A ball on the ground, when given a small hit, does not move forever. Such observations suggest that rest is the natural state of an object. This remained the belief until Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton developed an entirely different approach to understand about motion. In our everyday life, we observe that some effort is required to put a stationary object into motion or to stop a moving object. We ordinarily experience this is as a muscular effect and say that we must push or hit or pull on an object to change its state of motion. The concept of force is based on this push or pull, push, hit or pull. Let us now ponder about a force. What is it? In fact, no one has seen, tasted or felt a force. However, we always see or feel the effect of the force. So, here the force, we know the definition of a force is a pull or push or a pull, and the force is a vector quantity. Force is a vector quantity and the SI unit of force is Newton. The SI unit of force is Newton and the CGS unit of force is dyne. Come to the effects of motion. The force in a certain direction, it can lead to change in the motions. So next is about effects of force. So here we always see or feel the effect of a force. It can only be explained by describing what happens when a force is applied to the object. Pushing, hitting and pulling of object are always ways of bringing object in motion. They move, we make a force act on them. From your studies in early classes, I mean the lower classes, you are also familiar with the fact that a force can be used to change the magnitude of velocity of an object. That is, to make the object move faster or slower, or to change its direction of motion. We also know that a force can change the shape and size of object. So change the shape and size of objects. So again this I'll explain the effects of force again. The first is the force can make a stationary body in motion. First one is a force can make a stationary body in motion. For example, a football can be said to move by kicking it. That is, if you are applying a force, it moves from a place to the another person. So the second one is force can stop a moving body. Force can stop a moving body. For example, by applying a brakes, a running cycle or running vehicle can be stopped. So for example, by applying a brakes, a running cycle and running vehicle can be stopped. So it is the one of the effect of the force. The third one is force can change the direction of a moving object. Third one is force can change the direction of a moving object. For example, by applying a force, that is, by moving a handle, the direction of a running bicycle can be changed. If you want to go left hand side, you have to move the handle. If it is right hand side, you have to move the handle. It is the example of force can change the direction of a moving object. Then the fourth one is force can change the speed of a moving body. Force can change the speed of a moving body. By accelerating the speed of a running vehicle can be increased, or by applying the brakes, the speed of a running vehicle can be decreased. So here you can increase the speed or you can decrease the speed. And the last effect of a force is force can change the shape and size of an object. For example, by hammering, a block of a metal can be turned into a thin sheet. A block of metal, a big metal, if you hammered it, you can turn into a thin sheet. By hammering a stone can be broken into a pieces. It is a one more example. Again, I'll revise the same effects of the force. The first point is force can make a stationary body in motion. For the example of this one is, a football can be said to move by kicking on it. That is by applying a force. A second effect of force is force can stop moving a body. For example, by applying a brakes, a running cycle or running vehicle can be stopped. Third effect is force can change the direction of a moving object. For example, by applying a force, that is moving the handle the direction of running bicycle can be changed. One more example, by moving the steering, the direction of running vehicle changed. The fourth effect is the force can change the speed of a moving body. That is, by accelerating the speed of a running vehicle, it can be increased, or by applying a brakes, the speed of a running vehicle can be decreased. The last effect of force is force can change the shape and size of a object. The example is, by hammering a block of a metal can be turned into a thin sheet, or by hammering a stone can be broken into a pieces. Next, we are going to see about types of forces. What is that? Types of forces. So here there are two types of forces are there. One is a balanced force, another one is a unbalanced force. Come to the balanced force. If the resultant of an applied force is 0, if the resultant of applied force, what you are applying, that force is equal to 0, it is called balanced force. I am giving an example. If a tug of war, if both the teams apply a similar magnitude of a force in opposite direction, rope does not move in either side. So this happens because of balanced force, in which the resultant of applied force becomes 0. The balanced force do not cause any change of state of motion. There is no change of state of object. The balanced force are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. The balanced force are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. The balanced force can change the shape and size of an object. Balanced force can change and size of the object, but here it does not change the state of the object. In same balanced force, it can change the shape and size of an object. For example, when the force are applied both sides over a balloon, the size of the balloon is changed. The example of this particular statement, that is, the balanced force can change the shape and size of an object. For example, when forces are applied from both sides over a balloon, the size and shape of a balloon is changed. So this is all about balanced force. That is, the resultant applied force is equal to 0. Come to the unbalanced force. If the resultant of applied forces are greater than zero, the forces are called unbalanced forces. So it is not zero, greater than zero, the forces are called unbalanced forces. An object in rest can be moved because of applying a balanced force. The unbalanced force can do the some actions, that is moving a stationary object and increase the speed of a moving object and decrease the speed of a moving object and stop a moving object, change the size and shape of the object. So these are the things when the unbalanced force can do. So the unbalanced force can do the following. The first one is it can move the stationary object and it can increase the speed of a moving object. It decrease the speed of a moving object and it can stop the moving object and it can change the shape of a moving object. So this is about your unbalanced force. Next is about laws of motion. Before getting to the laws of motion, we must know a great person named as Galileo Galilei. I'll give a short note about Galileo Galilei, then we can move to the laws of motion. Galileo Galilei was born on 15th February 1564 in Pisa, Italy. Galileo, right from his childhood, had an interest in mathematics and natural philosophy, but his father, Vincenzo Galilei, wanted him to become a medical doctor. Accordingly, Galileo enrolled himself for a medical degree at the University of Pisa in 1581, which he never completed because his real interest in mathematics. Then in 1586, he wrote his first scientific book, The Little Balance, in which he described Archimedes' method of finding the relative density of substance using a balance. So in 1592, he was appointed a professor of mathematics. The Galileo was also an unremarkable craftsman. He developed a series of telescopes whose optical performance was much better than other telescopes. Using his own telescope and through his observation of Saturn and Venus, Galileo argued that all planets must orbit the sun. All planets must orbit the sun, not the earth, and contrary to what was believed at that time. And his books are Discourse on Floating Bodies, Letters on the Sunpots. He disclosed his observation of sunspots. And Galileo Galilei first of all said that objects move with a constant speed when no force acts on them. This means if an object is moving on the frictionless path, no other forces acting upon it, the object would be moving forever. That is, there is no unbalanced force working on an object. But practically, it is not possible for any object, because to attain the condition of zero unbalanced force is impossible. Force of friction, force of air, and many other forces always acting upon an object. After that, we have So Isaac Newton further studied Galileo's ideas on force and motion and presented three fundamental laws that govern the motion of objects. These three laws are known as Newton's law of motion. Now we'll see the first law of motion. It states that the body continues to remain in its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. It is also called law of inertia. So here, an object remains in a state of rest or if a uniform motion in a straight line, it is compelled to change the state of by an applied force, any applied force act on it. So this is said to be a first law of motion. So we can also say that all objects resist a change. All objects resist a change in their state of motion. In a qualitative way, the tendency of undistant object to stay at a rest or to keep moving with the same velocity. So that is called as a inertia. This is why the first law of motion is also called a law of inertia. So certain experience that we come across while traveling in a motor car, and the motor car can be explained on the basis of law of inertia. And we have applications of Newton's first law of motions. With the help of that application, we can understand the definition of law of motions better. First one is, a person standing in a bus falls backward when the bus start moving suddenly. This happens because the person and the bus both are in rest. The person and the bus both are in rest while the bus is not moving. But as the bus starts moving, the legs of the person start moving along with the bus, but rest portion of this body has a tendency to remain in rest. Because of this, the person falls backward if he is not alert. So this is the first application of laws of motion. Come to the second application. A person standing in a moving bus falls forward if driver applies a brake suddenly. This happens because when bus is moving, the person standing in it also in motion along with the bus. But when driver applies a brakes, the speed of bus decreases suddenly, or bus comes in a state of rest suddenly. In this condition, the leg of the person which are not in the contact with the bus come in the rest, while the rest of his body have tendency to remain in motion. Because of this reason only, the person falls forward if he is not alert. Next application. Before hanging the wet cloths over a laundry line, usually many jerks are given to the cloths to get them dried quickly. Because of the jerks, droplets of water from the pores of the cloths falls on the ground and reduce the amount of water in cloths, dried them quickly. This happens because when suddenly cloth are made in motion by giving a jerks, the water droplets in it have tendency to remain in the rest, and they are separated from the cloth and fall on the ground. So now I gave four applications to explain the Newton's first law. So this all application states that body continues to remain in the state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line unless an external unbalanced force act on us. So this above applications is all states the first law of motion. I'll give you one more application also. When a pile of a coin on the carom board hit by a striker, coin only at the bottom moves away, leaving the rest of the pile of coins at the same place. This happens because when the pile struck with the striker, the coin at the bottom comes in the motion, while the rest of the coin has a tendency to remain in the rest, and they vertically falls the carom board and remains at the same place. So these are all the applications of first law of motion. Then the last application is the head of the hammer is tightened on a wooden handle by banging the handle against the hard surface. When handle of the handle of the hammer is struck against the surface, handle comes in rest while hammer over its head has a tendency to remain in motion, and thus after some jerks it tightens over the handle. So these are the applications of Newton's first law. Next, we know that this the tendency of undisturbed object to stay at a rest or to moving with the same velocity is called as the inertia. So that's why the first law of motion is also known as law of inertia. Now we are going to see about mass and inertia. So the property of an object because of which it resists to get disturbed is called inertia. So the property of an object because of which it resists to get disturbed, this state is called inertia. Inertia of an object is measured by its mass. Mass is nothing but weight. Inertia is directly proportional to the mass. Inertia is directly proportional to the mass. This means the inertia increases with increase in mass and decreases with decrease in mass. A heavy object will have more than lighter one, or else the natural tendency of an object that resists the change in state of motion or rest of object is called inertia. Since a heavy object has more inertia, thus it is difficult to push or pull a heavy box over the ground than lighter one. So this is all about your Newton's first law.